hood. They've been on TV talking about the governorship here. And something that has come up, kind of termed the white supremacy vote. Mm-hmm. Is that just gerrymandering, or what other shenanigans are going into popular versus electorals? How is that playing out?
Well, that's playing out as it was planned to play out. Now, this started in the 1890 Constitution. It says that one cannot win by popular vote alone unless he is a white person.
Because of the population.
That's right, because of population. Mm-hmm. Now, during that period, they had something called the Reconstruction era, when black folks were voting right and left as Republicans, not Democrats.
Yeah, the whole flip-flop over the decades.
And they had a lot of people coming to the South, white and black, to take advantage of these opportunities politically in the South.
Southern migration, most popularly, I think, deemed as carpetbaggers.
That's right. And many of them were black, because some of those northern blacks that were free had just a little more education than these southern slaves. So they would come in, sometimes they would come in as preachers or teachers, and they would get themselves situated in the community, and they would run for office. And they had the power to make a few laws, but they didn't have the power to get them enacted because they didn't have the majority vote. And continuously, the white people regained their rights. The federal government just abandoned those old rules where the Confederates were outlawed. They gave them an opportunity to take over the political system, the communities, and the churches again.
The birth of Jim Crow, so to speak.
That's right. And then the carpetbaggers and others were given their term limit. About the 95 to 1910, they were totally out.
So all of this is happening well after 64 and 65.
That's right. And the 1890 Constitution set this in stone. It says virtually you have to get a majority vote. You must win 122 districts. And if you don't do that, it's going to go into the House of Representatives and the Senate. Then they're going to have to vote in your favor. And then the last signature is from the governor. So if Party X win, and they are not in the majority with the popular vote, the minority winner going to be the one to get the job.
Now, your opinion on popular versus electoral, should there be a washing of, or do we need to accept one or the other? And we're talking about for the 21st century and beyond, I guess, is what we're really talking about.
We need to wash that out. Now, you're either going to have a dictatorship or you're going to have democracy. Democracy is aligned with popular vote. If you're going to say
one man, one vote.
One man, one vote, that's where it ought to be. But if you want to dilute it to have a dictatorial type situation where dictators and the 1%ers will run the nation and the communities in all institutions. You have this divided deal where minority representation is insignificant because we're going to fix it where they can't win.
Gerrymandering.
Exactly right. But in order to keep a little peace in the community on the local, state, and federal levels, we're going to cut out a small little district where we have at least 1 out of 5 or 10 positions where blacks can get in power.
But even that is not a true one man, one vote.
No, it's not.
It's still about districting.
That's right. But see, the thing is, that will appease the minority.
But for how many decades?
Well, it has appeased them forever.
Up to now.
That's right. So they said, well, we got one in. But in Mississippi right now, it would take a New York miracle to get a black person to represent anything statewide in this state. Now, in regional, of course you can. You will always have one in the House right now. Even with the 2020 census, you're going to have one black that's going to be able to represent the other 39 or 40% blacks in this state. Only one.
So on the state level, we talk about the number of reps that are out there now, and we have quite a few with the a burgeoning Black caucus, but does not seem to be effective. Does Benny Thompson need to give up his chairmanship to come run for statewide office at the governorship level?
No, that wouldn't be wise for Benny Thompson. Mr. Benny Thompson is a smart man because he's from Bozeman, Mississippi. And he knows he can't win a state-level job. His good friends know he can't. Even those that make an effort to do it, that are running for statewide positions right now.
And again, I just pulled his name out of there arbitrarily.
Of course.
Mostly because of the name recognition.
Of course, he's a great man. But the thing is, there can be no Black person to win a statewide job, even at the Secretary of State's level, unless there's some major wheeling and dealing going on. And I don't know whether they have done that yet. It's almost impossible right now for a Democrat to beat a Republican, even if the Republican is not well known, because you look at the facts, and I look at the numbers. You have more Republican voters than Democrats. Then when you break it down along racial lines, only about 1/3 of the Blacks going to vote that's registered to vote. And then they have about 50% that's not even registered.
So describe, and let's talk for just a little bit more as we get ready to close here, about that malaise of a level of population that if you just got up and went and vote, is that solution still available, or is there something psychologically going on that's preventing that from happening? All my vote don't count.
Well, it's both. It's both. The solution is available, but this whole psychological thing that my vote don't count is real too. A lot of people don't think their vote counts. No one told them that. They were not trained to believe that. They took civics out of school that showed that your vote is important, that you have a different, what we call a division in government, local, state, and federal. They all have different responsibilities and job descriptions. The average young person that's under 30 don't know anything about that.
No clue.
No clue. And they don't see the parents voting a lot. They don't see the preachers in the pulpit demanding that we're going to have a voter league in our church, and we're going to teach our young people civics and how to vote, the importance of vote. We're going to give them important leadership positions in the church so they can know how to be leaders and managers of institutions and programs. So they don't teach it in the home, don't teach it in the church, and don't teach it in the school. So where do you think they're going to learn it?
I remember talking to one of the election officials, the commissioners, and I was on a radio program that I was producing at the time, and we had about 5 of them in the room, getting their opinion on various things, all things considering voting and so forth. And the conclusion was, or what I got from it, and one stated it very matter-of-factly, I was under the impression, or I guess that's wishful thinking on my side, is that some of these commissioners and their office, some of the responsibilities should be about voter education. He said, wrong, that's not what we do, have no intention of doing it.
Well, it's because those candidates, and many of them, and I know some of them, have not even pulled the job description of their jobs. They are going about what they been told.
So does it include some level of encouragement, information campaign along with what they're doing?
Of course it does. Of course it does. Every elected official is supposed to look out for the general welfare of their constituents. And in order to get their interests known, they need to and should be generating publicity about what they're supposed to do.
Some level of outreach.
That's right.
Above and beyond what it has been now.
They ought to be begging these people to put groups together, come to me and tell me what you need. You need new voters. They know they need new voters.
But isn't that one of the very crooks or juxtapositions? Because the public says we don't see you until every 4 years. But then conversely, the ones that you appointed and hired to take care of your business also can say, you all don't show up at all.
That's exactly right. And that's why they're going to continue to do this until someone gets to the point where they say, we're going to organize these communities. We're going to teach our young people by voting. to vote, and we're going to put institutions together that will make it happen. For instance, we're going to have people, community organizations in the schools, teaching young people how to put elections together, the importance of vote. The churches can do the same. The neighborhood community associations can do the same, teach young people the importance of voting, give them leadership positions. And then when you get that started in middle school or elementary school, when they get voting age, they'll know the second thing I'm going to do after I turn 18 is vote. After I go and have a little party to celebrate.
After I get my shot of liquor legally.
That's right. Once I do that, then I'm going to register to vote. Mm. See, a lot of people don't know you can get registered a few months before you turn 18. But a lot of people don't know that.
Like a driver's license.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 15 or 16. Some have
you can
that
get a training
6 to 9 months. Yeah.
That's right. And they can do the same thing with voting, but that's not going to happen because people don't teach it, nor are they accustomed to that. So what you don't know anything about, you don't do.
Just give me the check, just like election. Give me the check.
That's right.
Job description be damned.
And politicians know that.
And see you in 4 years.
They say, if I can get this job, making $30,000 to $120,000 a year, I won't have to do anything until 3.5 years from now. All I have to do is stay alive and get my check. Mm. And the status quo is going to be maintained. People are going to be hollering and squalling. Conditions are going to be getting worse politically and economically in the community. And the same elite is going to be running things. Special interests, special interests, special interests. They're going to pay these politicians off. They're going to buy them a few preachers. They're going to work together and keep things just the way they are.
Capitalism in a democracy.
That's
or is it democracy in a capitalism?
Well, it's really, we don't have no democracy in the history of America. But you do have capitalism. Always have had capitalism. And capitalism is good, man. I love capitalism.
Oh, I'm a capitalist as well.
Oh, I love
But
that.
I do care about the effects of my capitalism. Whether it be people, environments, institutions.
So do I. So do I.
And with that, I think we've said just about all we can say today.
Well, thank you very much.
See you next time.
Thank you, sir.